Okay, so here's our probability scale. And what this does is it shows us the range of likelihoods or chances that an event has of happening. Okay, and it runs from impossible down one end to certain up at the top end. Now, an event that is impossible, okay, is never, ever, ever going to happen. So, for example, Barrow winning the Premier League in football, it's impossible because they're not in the Premier League. So they can't win it. If they're not in it, they can't win it. Okay? I hope you agree. Something that's certain, okay, is an event that is always going to happen. Okay? So, for example, it's certain that Wednesday follows Tuesday. Okay? So every day after Tuesday is Wednesday. It always has been since we created the calendar, and it always will be moving forward. So in between these two, impossible and certain, we have a variety of different chances or likelihoods. So if we look at evens, this is your classic 50-50, where the chances are half, or 0.5, or 50%. Okay, so tossing a coin and getting a head, that's a classic example. If it's head or tails, the coin's fair, you've got a 0.5% probability of getting a head, or the probability is a half or 50%. Okay, if it's impossible, the probability is zero. It's never going to happen. And if it's certain, if it happens every time, it's 1. Okay. Now, obviously, most events aren't impossible and they aren't certain. There's some chance or likelihood of them happening. So the probability of an event can go anywhere on this scale. Okay, so anything less than evens, anything less than a 50-50 chance is what we know is unlikely. Okay, so it's unlikely, let's say, that you've got your options that you've picked at school on any set day because maybe you only have it once a week. Okay, so unlikely here, we could have it as 0.25 or a quarter. Okay, 25%, but that it doesn't have to be that number. Okay, it can be anywhere this way of evens. Okay, so any probability between 0.5 and 0 then becomes unlikely. It's less likely to happen than it is to happen. Okay, and of course the opposite of that is likely. So here, let's say the probability of you having maths or science on a day, because you've got lots of maths every week and lots of science every week, is likely. Okay, so this might be, depending on your timetable, could be 3/4, 0.75, 75%. But again, it might be higher, it might be less. But anything this way of evens is likely to happen. Okay, and one of the common misconceptions with this is you think that something is impossible or certain when really it's just very, very, very likely. Okay, so for example, winning the lottery, that's not impossible. Okay, there's 1 in 13 million chance of winning, okay, the jackpot, but that doesn't mean the probability is 0. It's just very, 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 very small. Likewise, if you're in school on a Tuesday, you're very, very likely to be in school on a Wednesday, but it might start snowing. Okay, so it's not certain. You've got to be really careful. Things that you think are certain generally aren't. Okay, something is only certain if it happens absolutely every time. If there's only one outcome to the event that can occur. Okay, so that's the probability scale. Really neat. I've looked at some questions. Following the questions will be some worked answers, if I can get this machine to work, and see how you get on. Okay, good luck. Okay, so here's your questions. So you've got question 1, name an event that is certain. B, impossible. C, even chance. Question 2, draw out the probability scale in as much detail as possible. Make sure you get all the different probabilities in both decimal and fraction. And question 3, what is a suitable probability for an event that is unlikely? Okay, so pause it up if you want to keep those questions because the answers are coming soon. So here you go. Here are your answers. So question 1, obviously, an impossible event can never happen. So I can't marry Henry VIII. You know, he's a bloke with a beard for a start, and he's also dead. So that's never going to happen. Impossible. Probability of 0. Night will follow day. That's certain. In the UK at least. Okay, the sun sets, night arrives. We can't stop that. The universe is pretty In a mess if it does. If night doesn't follow day, we're in trouble. But that's a different lesson. And then flipping a coin with and getting ahead, that is evens. Okay, because there's two outcomes, heads or tails, equally likely to happen. Okay, we'll cut more of that further down the playlist. I've given you the probability scale again there, sketched out. And that leads on to question 3, the answer to question 3. Unlikely is having a probability of less than a half or less than 0.5. So any number less than 0.5 but greater than 0, okay, is an event that is unlikely. It is less likely to happen than it is to happen. Okay, so I've put 0.25, okay, but it could be as the middle point between those two numbers, but it could be anywhere. Okay, I've hoped this tutorial has helped. For the record, this is my first ever screencast, so I'm sure I'll look back at this and realise I was an amateur. But anyway, thank you for having a go.